Hey everyone, and welcome. If you've ever managed a Citrix environment, you know the feeling. A new version drops, and suddenly you're staring at this decision that feels way more complicated than it should. Do we upgrade? Do we wait? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise and give you a really clear way to think through that choice so you can make the right call every single time. This is it, right? This is the central question. And the right answer, it's almost never just about the flashy new features. It's about choosing a path for your environment. This decision is really a fork in the road, and getting it right is the heart of what we call version thinking.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to dig into why this whole thing feels so confusing in the first place. Then, we'll lay out the two very different paths you can take. I'll also share a little cautionary tale I call the mismatch trap, and we'll wrap it all up with a simple framework that puts you, not the software, back in control.
Okay, so let's start with the big one. Why is this so hard? I mean, most admins are more than capable of installing some software. The struggle isn't about the how, it's about the when and the what. And Citrix, well, it adds its own unique layers of complexity to the mix. It honestly feels like a puzzle where the pieces keep changing shape, because they kinda do. Your delivery controllers can be on one version, your VDAs on another. The official compatibility matrix can feel like you're trying to read a phone book, and the support life cycles for different parts can overlap in really confusing ways. It's basically a perfect recipe for analysis paralysis.
And all that confusion? It tends to push people into one of two camps. You've got the upgrade warriors, who chase every single new release and accidentally introduce a ton of instability. And then you've got the fortress builders, who avoid upgrades at all costs and end up falling way behind on security. Both are risky. The goal isn't to be fast or slow, it's to be intentional.
So how do we find that intentional path? It all starts with understanding one single, super important concept that cuts right through all the noise. See, Citrix gives you two official paths to follow, and each one has a totally different goal. Once you get this, every future decision becomes so much simpler.
Think of it like this. On one side, you have the LTSR path. Let's call it the stability highway. It's straight, it's predictable, and it's built for maximum reliability. Updates are mostly about security and bug fixes. On the other side, you have the current release path, the innovation highway. This road is winding, it's fast-paced, and it's where you get all the latest and greatest features. Neither one is better than the other. They're just designed for completely different journeys.
So, to break it down, LTSR is for organizations that absolutely need things to just work, day in and day out. Think about healthcare or finance, any industry where uptime and predictability are non-negotiable.
And then you have CR. This is for environments that really thrive on having the newest tools and capabilities. We're talking about teams that have the resources and, honestly, the comfort level to manage a much faster pace of change so they can get that competitive edge. Now let's talk about what happens when these ideas get mixed up. I want to tell you a quick story, a real-world scenario that happens way too often. This is the story of the mismatch trap. It all starts so innocently. A team wants a cool new feature, so they upgrade their delivery controllers. The brains of the whole operation. But to save a little time, they decide to leave the VDAs, the actual virtual desktops, on an older version. And at first, everything seems fine. People can log in, apps are launching, no big deal, right? But then, strange little things start to happen. Users start reporting random intermittent disconnects. Things just feel a little off, a little laggy. Login times spike every now and then for no reason. Nothing is on fire. There are no major alarms. Just this slow, creeping erosion of user trust and a whole lot more support tickets. So after weeks of frustrating troubleshooting, pulling their hair out, the team finally finds it. And it wasn't some dramatic bug, it wasn't a hardware failure, it was a subtle, quiet incompatibility between the new controllers and the old VDAs. A misalignment that didn't cause a crash, but just created enough friction to make the whole environment unstable. And this is the real danger. Version mismatches almost never cause loud, obvious failures that are easy to spot. They create problems that whisper. And those whispers, they're the hardest ones to track down, slowly and quietly wrecking the stability you worked so hard to build.
So, how do we avoid falling into this trap? Well, we need to shift from just picking versions to actually adopting a mindset. And that's the path to what we call version thinking, a really simple framework to bring clarity back to your decisions.
This framework has 4 simple parts. First, choose a strategy. Are you on the stability highway or the innovation highway? Commit to one. Second, think in ecosystems.
Your whole environment is one unit, not just a collection of random parts. Third, plan upgrades like actual projects, with proper testing and a rollback plan. And fourth, respect support life cycles. Running unsupported software is a huge hidden risk you just don't want to take.
You know, this whole framework, it's exactly how the seasoned pros approach upgrades. They put strategy way ahead of speed, and that little shift in mindset is what makes all the difference in creating calm, predictable environments.
Their decisions are always intentional. They are not reacting to a new release announcement or some flashy feature. No, they're making a deliberate choice that lines up with their overall strategy. It's not about reacting, it's about executing a plan.
And they do this by asking a few really simple but really powerful questions before they even think about upgrading. First, does this actually solve a real problem we have right now? Second, does this fit with our main goal for stability, or is it just a distraction? And third, can we actually support this new version properly?
Look, if you only take one single thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. Citrix versions are not just numbers on a release note. They are long-term commitments. They're a commitment to a certain level of stability, a certain feature set, and a certain pace of change. You have to choose them with that same level of intention.
So the next time you see that new version available notification pop up, just pause for a second and ask yourself this one final question. Are you just choosing a version number? Or are you choosing a strategy for the entire future of your environment? Because making that shift right there will change absolutely everything.
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you for watching this video. My name is Naresh. I am the content creator behind this YouTube channel. I have created a community for Citrix learners where I will be posting a lot of details on Citrix products and how to work in Citrix environments. I'm going to mention the link in the video description, so you can click on that link and you can become part of the community. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.